what, to grow ourselves long term, we need a model that has unlimited liquidity. And that is why we changed ourselves more into the USDT side of it.
Hi Siddharth, so it's been really nice hosting you and for WazirX conversations. And we've been hearing about a lot of these crypto words, like NFT and Web3 technologies. Now, what's your take? On the Web3 technologies, like how you see, leave out Web3 right now. How do you see crypto is shaping right now in India?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing, right? If you think about it, probably in 2017, only very few people knew about it, and if those guys probably just knew that because of the markets, right? Like because of the price movement. But today, all those guys back in 2017 who probably entered Bitcoin or the crypto, the universe, you can say, have started reading a lot about what is happening, how it is happening, right? Like, and try to understand the fundamentals of these things. And today, the same guys are talking about and giving GAN to multiple more people. And it's not just wafer GAN, but it's really good stuff. And also from that, a lot of people have started their own startup, right? Like something on the blockchain. And it's pretty interesting to know that in last 2 years, I've seen so many projects coming out of India. This is crazy. This is so good. I think India is doing really good. We have good support across people and hopefully also from government. So, we'll be able to flourish this and take advantage of just like, the .com boom. Hopefully when we have the crypto boom, we are completely taking advantage of that.
Right. Now I quickly jump on to my second question, which is what is Web3? We've been hearing about this all over the crypto space. I want you to explain, Yemen, what Web3 actually is.
Right. There's a lot of take on it, right? Like you're trying to. So let me just break it down for you to understand, and very, very simple. So in the 90s, the whole internet era came in, right? Like so, 80s, 90s, and just early 2000s. What did that? It was the whole internet boom. What was it enabling, right? It enabled decentralization of information. So we called it the information era. Why? So probably in 70s, imagine you just want to get a content from say what's been printed in New York. It takes probably almost 7 days, or probably to get a book or get any content or any article that has been published in say New York. Today, you don't realize it just takes few clicks here there, and you're probably consuming content across the world. It doesn't matter where you are. The information is just decentralized, right? On the internet, there is no geography. It's just one address away, right? It's just that multiverse that we are all talking about. So the decentralization of information was very important, right? And this is where the knowledge transfer started happening, right? Now we are in the whole era of decentralization of value, right? Whether it is the economy in general. Whether it is, it's not about just currency, but imagine, being on the internet and having its own, economy, right? Like not even related to what happens in US or India or maybe, some 2 other countries. It's just on the internet. And this is where we are going towards. Just like how the information era was, like on Instagram, it doesn't matter who you follow somebody from, Europe, you follow somebody from Australia, it doesn't matter, it's on the internet. And it's just that same world. So similarly, this is where that economy thing is coming up, and there are tons of things coming around it, which is like, you have a crypto bank that is being built on top of the whole, Web3. And there's so many building the basics of how things would be, and this is the next big leg, right? Like this is what we all believe. Once we have the information, now we need the economy to support it, the value, right? The age of value transfers, and that is where we are heading towards. And this is going to be crazy. It's going to unlock a lot more things. Like, imagine you're just working on the internet. You're not working in India or anywhere else. You're just working there. You're spending your time there. And pretty much, yes, today I spend probably more time, not just me, like a lot of you guys are spending more screen time on the internet, talking to somebody on Instagram, Twitter, or wherever. You're already living that life. Now imagine the money and the finance, everything comes together on the internet, and that's something that Web3 is all about, right?
Okay, so correct my thesis how I have understood Web3. So back in the late 90s, this is Web 1.0, right? Where you could just read on Yahoo News or kind of other platforms. Web 2.0 is when the social media came in, right? Where you could read.
Absolutely.
Right? And where people could participate. Now, Web3, why it sounds more interesting is you can read, you can write, and you can execute, right?
Absolutely. Exactly. Like, let's break it down, right? Like, so if the information era was then we had the social era that came in, and you had Facebooks of the world. Back in the days, you had a lot of these content products that was going big. Then you had Facebook, all the social, Twitter, everybody started connecting people together, right? That was the thing. If any product that was about connecting people was like looked upon the future of the internet, and that is the future of the internet. And this is today also, the power of what Facebook or Twitter and everybody, Instagram does, right? It connects people from different parts on the internet. And this is where the next part, what you're referring to, is the value internet, right? Where the value transfer is happening. If I do something for you, there has to be some exchange that's going to happen, right? Like, then there is the market that automatically creates, where if I write something great, you probably would pay for me, or you are really good with something, I would pay you for, right? So these are things that's now going to come, and it's not now just a social era where we're just connecting people. Now we want to connect people with value, and that's the next big leg here.
So since you're talking about value, my third question is, how do you see now we moving towards a value-stricken economy, which is the tokenization or the token economy?
Right.
And if you can explain to our viewers, what exactly is token economy?
Right. I think it's a very, very interesting phenomena that is happening right now, right? I'm so impressed with the way it has been executed, right? So previously, when we used to build product, it was just a product, it's just the product that you're building, right? Like, for example, if I was Google, I would probably build, Gmail and XYZ, right? Like, or Instagram. It's just the guys, or the product guys, who are benefiting, and it can only grow as much as I can make it grow, right? Like, as a company. But in this whole token economy that we are talking about, things have completely changed. In the old economy, right? Even if I'm a very avid user of Instagram, I still don't get a very big benefit other than the social connect. I don't get a benefit of, if Instagram becomes big, do I become big? Probably socially, but not economically, right? Like, if they are making so much money, I don't, right? Like, so many things around it, right? Like, imagine if I were to create Google or Instagram, right? So how does this work, right? Like, so when I create a product, and users are using it, it only grows to the level that I can create, to where I want to reach. It doesn't grow beyond me. Even for the consumer who's using it, for him, the only benefit is the social or the value that the product gives, but nothing economically, right? Like, so I probably helped, say, Instagram go big by creating great content, but there's nothing more for me here, right? The value economy that we are talking about, and then linking this to the whole token economy that is being built, is fantastic. It is something that is creating something beyond us. So let's take, for example, Ethereum, right? Like, just an Ethereum foundation. So it was the Ethereum foundation which basically built out the infrastructure to build the next generation of decentralized apps, right? That can be executed on the blockchain, or just in general, just being decentralized. And that's the only goal that they did. But they did not think about what all will be built on top of it, Then it became something beyond them, right? Like, the value of Ethereum, what they even thought about is way beyond what they could probably even imagine, right? So they now at the beginning, it was them who was always promoting Ethereum, building it out, building all the products, thinking about what can be built in future. Now it is the community that is building on, right? So it's the whole social angle has now sort of converted into this community who is also creating bigger values for every project, right? Like anything that is being built on today, there are hundreds of projects actually built on Ethereum. Some has a very, very high value, which has been stored on Ethereum. So if you think about it, the kind of things that we are building, it's now gone beyond it, right? Like it's not like Instagram could have done that, right? This is a different way. This is where we are using a community as a way to grow, and that's the most decentralized way to grow something. And the Instagram way is the most central way of growing something. So I think where we are here is in a very amazing cusp. Where projects are able to build something, create value at the same time. There are more people who can back them up, help them up, and also evangelize for them and create a community and such that it goes beyond these founders who actually created it. I think this is where we are talking about building something big, right? And not something central, but like with people.
So Siddharth, what do you think about the development in El Salvador?
Yeah, I think the whole development around El Salvador is not a very surprising thing, to be very frank, right? Like a lot of economy, which is being a weak economy, which was being built on top of US economy, right? Like the US currency has been seeing a lot of issues because because of the inflation that's happening around the world, especially US printing a lot more currency. Now, what that leads to is a weaker economy for them, and to be very frank, to even to manage your own currency, it's not easy because there's a lot of things beyond it, right? There's GDP, there's many things you have to make sure about, inflation, deflation, many things around. You have to control it from everything, right? So some countries don't want to do that, and probably and that's why one of the reasons that they adopt other currencies, like a lot of countries have their legal tender as US dollars. But then what's beyond this, right? What's beyond that? We are at that crisp where we know or there are signs of US dollars getting more weaker, in the whole economical frame of things, right? And what is better than that, right? Like what is better than something that is probably the future of the internet? What about a global currency, right? Like, so till then, if US dollars was a global currency, you could see probably some shift to a newer form. I'm not saying this is like the right way to do it, or however, but I genuinely believe this is the right step by them, right? A great, if not a great experiment, because already the whole Bitcoin community is so vast. It's across the geographic. There's so much adoption happening around it, and they adopting is merely a good sign, a progressive sign that is like where we are going even more mainstream with this, right? So now when you think back, every other country ideally should just adopt it, right? Like as a legal tender. And when I talk about every other country, at least the weak economy should definitely.
Right. So the next question is that how do you see India adapting to tokenization, and also what role is WazirX now playing? Kind of making people aware about it.
Right. I think India is playing a really good role. Like compared to the .com boom, we see a lot more projects coming out of India, right? Like I think I am very confident that India would be in some way participating in this. Like kudos to folks at Matic. They have done an amazing job, right? To bring India to the world and in the global blockchain, the world that we are all talking about, and what an execution, right? Like, so if you think about it, there's a lot of good things that is happening in India. There's a lot of development happening, a lot of there are a lot of techies who reach out to me, like entrepreneurs reach out to me, hey, how do I get started? I want to be contributing to this world. I have these ideas, I have that, and I'm already working on this. Can you advise me? So many things are happening here, right, today. And that's all that is a very good sign. That's, there's progress happening, because if we are the producers, right, then obviously, if we are the producer and creators, there's immense more value to the world that we are creating in future, right? And I think India should not be left behind. Just like how .com boom, it was more of a Silicon Valley thing and not of India, right? India was completely left over. And today we have the talent and have the folks to actually be part of it. And I think this is where things would change. And we are doing everything that we can do. Whether it's helping people with funds, advising, whatever we can. The other most important thing that we also do is with WazirX is we actually enable all these projects, not just India but across the world. We enable that, give that access to the rest of India, right? If there is far more crypto adoption that is happening in India, we are already part of this whole new world that we are trying to create, right? The new future that is going to happen,
Right.
and that's also our mission, by the way. Our mission is to take this the whole blockchain revolution to maximum Indians as possible, right? Like that's basically our mission, and we've been doing a lot of things. When we say that, it's not only about building an exchange. We have elaborately built a team who's helping, reaching out to people and giving them knowledge, sharing the knowledge, right information about what is what. Because it is obviously a cryptic thing when you think about cryptocurrency, but all this has to be deciphered, and we are working day and night to help this, and we believe that's the right way to do it. Whether it's going to where they're holding seminars, webinars, at colleges, at institutes, at corporate people. With our whole idea is to spread the right information, and that's the right way to build any industry, right? Rather than just talking about prices, because prices obviously looks attractive, but fundamentals are very important. And if we are able to crack that, I think we are doing a very good job in terms of spreading this right knowledge and expanding this industry to rest of India.
Right. Well, it's been a great conversation with you. And as part of WazirX conversation, I hope that we educate people more and our audience also.
Yes.
And you've been of great help. So it was nice having you, Siddharth, on the show.
Same here, Archit. Thanks again.
So much.